Hi! Welcome to part 1 of my review featuring the Reverie tabletop role-playing game Core Book. This is a dark fantasy steampunk role-playing game that uses a familiar yet unique variation of the D20 system. Before we continue, I would like to talk about this channel's sponsor, Heroes and Hardships. This is a universal RPG system allowing you to play any sort of campaign, scenario, genre. You can create any sort of character imaginable. You have hundreds of tools to accomplish that. I'm going to put a few links in the description that will take you to the Kickstarter that is ongoing, and it is in its stretch goals. You will also find links to the Discord, to the website, to the Tetsubo section of the website. Tetsubo is an upcoming setting inspired by Japan's Sengoku era. You will also find links to my reviews of the core rulebook in its early access version, the Quickstart guide, and the Wallace campaign setting, based on the life and exploits of William Wallace. So please check it out. Now let's continue. Let's talk about the quality of this core book. The quality is great, I just have a criticism. The document doesn't have bookmarks or hyperlinks, so it's going to be quite difficult to navigate this PDF. This is a 436 pages document, so yes, it's quite challenging. But other than that, everything is well organized, written, and explained. When it comes to the graphic design and layout, first I thought that the paragraphs and the font look a bit too cramped. Sometimes you feel as if they are too close to the edges of the document, and the font is a bit too small. But this was obviously done to cram in as much information in a single page as possible. I think this is excellent. There are some role-playing games that extend the page count a lot more because there is no proper spacing, but this does mean that if you have bad eyesight, you will have to zoom in when reading this document. In my case, there is no problem, but I just wanted to point that out. Now, when it comes to the placement of the illustrations, it's quite excellent. The document itself is quite vibrant and colorful. The illustrations are well chosen to express the theme of the game and the sort of scope, the atmosphere, but the pages also make it look as if this document is a sort of magical book of sorts, so the graphic design and layout is excellent. So overall, the quality is great. I just wish that bookmarks and hyperlinks are added in the near future. Now let's talk about the contents. The book starts with a preface, giving you information about the origins of this role-playing game. It took about 8 years to create this RPG. It all started from an idea of having fun while playing a game and creating stories based on the results of the combats, of the social interactions, the explorations, and such. I think it's great that they added this preface. Some books look a bit too dry. When you don't have some thoughts of the designer, you also have to consider the focus. Do you enjoy lots of battles? Plenty of social interactions and discovery, exploration? You can focus your game on a single aspect or have a more balanced approach. There is also the hook. This is about getting your players invested in the story you want to create. Now let me give you an introduction to the world of Reverie. Set in a distant land under 2 moons, where dead gods speak out from abyssal plains, and magic and industry influence the lives of just about everyone in the cosmos, you must find a way not only to survive, but to thrive. Dangers are not just common, but expected. Rifts into magical worlds threaten to unleash monsters on everyday citizens. Kingdoms and nations are perpetually embroiled in complex political entanglements, all the while ambitious captains of industry march on forgotten lands, not knowing the sleeping horrors they might awaken. The setting of Reverie takes place in the year 89 of the Fourth Era, following a collection of arcane wars and technological leaps that have changed the world seemingly forever. The dawn of the Fourth Era was marked by a sudden resurgence of magical influence not seen in the world for several thousand years. What followed was a chaotic scene that tore empires apart and forced alliances between unlikely nations. All the while, industrial marvels became increasingly common. War accelerated the production of technologically sophisticated weapons, and the unsteady peace that followed saw said weapons blended with magic as everyone sought to gain the upper hand. Classical monarchies and long-standing empires became puppets to secret guilds and factions, each fighting their own ideological battle. As the world thrust itself into a complex state of conflict, driven by magic and industry in equal parts, the veils between worlds became increasingly thin. The origins of magic were revealed as an omnipresent void, intersecting the underlying fabric of all known realities. Its essence settled into the foundations of every world and plane, and through its influence breached gateways. Gaps in reality appeared for monsters to pour through, threatening the lives of the common folk. Groups arose to combat them, others to study them. Each organization, be they secret or acclaimed, still move upon the void with unique and varied intentions. As such groups arose, the greatest weapon in any arsenal became knowledge. Knowledge of magic and how it can be wielded. Knowledge of machines and their limitations. Knowledge of how best to merge the two. This core book also presents the basics to play role-playing games. So this will help you get started into the hobby if you have never played an RPG before. But I must mention a couple of things that veterans may find interesting. Like I said earlier, this is a modified version of a D20 system. This is not your typical Dungeons & Dragons experience. This is a particular variation unique to this setting, to the sort of stories that you can create by playing the game. So to overcome difficulties, you need to roll above a certain difficulty check. You have a number such as 10 for easy tasks, 15 for normal tasks, 20 for daunting tasks, and such. So you're going to be rolling your dice trying to hit that target number or above. And that's pretty standard, that's what you would see in other D20 based systems. But as we explore the different aspects of this RPG, you will notice the differences immediately. This game is focused on being an adventure tabletop RPG experience, with opportunities for combat, social interaction, and exploration. And I really like this small example of gameplay included here. They eliminate the "what do you do" question, and it also eliminates the unnecessary questions asked by players, instead encouraging obtaining information about the setting, about the world, through roleplay. In fact, let me read this example to you. The Game Master speaks. You are in a dark hallway that stretches out beyond your field of vision. Behind you is a dead end. On the walls are what look like inscriptions in a foreign language, and the floor has tiles of varying heights. There is a low whistling that sounds like it's coming from the end of the hallway, but you can't see its source. The player Julie speaks. Okay, I'm going to have Esquivel look at the walls and see if he can decipher what language the text is in. The Game Master speaks. Alright, can you give me a history check? Julie rolls, and I rolled a 15, and my bonus to history check is 7, so that's a total of 22. The Game Master speaks. Okay, Esquivel succeeds, and is able to recognize this language as Telembrios, the ancient language from the old Telos Empire. So this is perfect, an amazing example. If you wish to explore more about these issues of playing tabletop role-playing games in a more efficient and immersive way, please check out my RPG Tips playlist. I'm going to put that in the description. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about character creation. So as you can see, it's a great start for a role-playing game that wishes to explore the dark fantasy steampunk experience. You could say that this is a science fantasy role-playing game with infinite potential when it comes to the setting because of its extraplanar or multi-dimensional thematic proposition. And because it's a D20 based system, it's going to be very easy for many people to pick it up and understand the mechanics right away. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.